down 2 inches. Keep placing the mic a little higher than you're comfortable with, and you'll just continually stretch out. Well, anyway, thanks for coming. Yes, we'll play some songs. Each time we try to have a movie date, dear, each time we try to watch some kind of flick, it's hardly half an hour that I wait, dear, before your tired head drops like a brick. Does Bill Murray's day repeat forever? Does Humphrey Bogart ever find the gold? Will Annie Hall and Woody stay together? I learn all these things myself while you're out cold. Does that head start swinging with that same old motion? And it's hardly even 9:30. Soon you're bobbing far away out on the ocean, and I'm left lonely watching movies on the dock. To feel my loved one's head rest on my shoulder can be a cozy feeling, to be sure, but only when we're sharing feeling closer, not when you've slipped 1,000,000 miles from shore. Why must your head turn mighty as an anvil when movie watching hour comes around? It just becomes so heavy and substantial. It lolls and rolls and then it crashes down. That head starts swinging with that same old motion, and it's hardly even 9:30. Soon you're bobbing far away out on the ocean, and I'm left lonely watching movies on the dock. It used to be we'd rarely get through movies, 'cause loving passion swept away our patience. Epics or shorts, we still couldn't get through these. We'd miss the ends, whatever their durations, till with more time spent at work and less for kisses, I thought at least we'd now watch movies till the ends. But sad to say, that's still the part she misses. I guess we wouldn't even get through them just as friends. We love to be together, that's for certain. There's deep communication in our hearts. But when each morning we discuss Hitchcock or Bergman, we only talk about the way each movie starts. 'Cause that head starts swinging with that same old motion, and it's hardly even 9:30. Soon you're bobbing far away out on the ocean, and I'm left lonely watching movies on the dock. springtime. There's blue sky in a puddle. There's a bird on the ground, dog on a roof. Chirp, chirp, woof, woof. It's springtime, springtime. There's blue sky in a puddle. shoddy. Wherever flowers have eaten it, voracious flowers, voracious hours, voracious people, voracious smiles. Words like voracious just sound like nonsense after you say them about 5 times. These flowers blooming, they are not human. These flies and insects are really weird. Their backs are shiny, their souls are tiny, and by the zillions they've disappeared. So if there's life after, it's packed with insects, it's filled with flowers, no room for us. When they get the bucket, they just say chuck it. They come and go like infinite dust. The human race is beautiful faces, changing places, reform and bust. When we kick the bucket, let's just say chuck it. We'll come and go like infinite dust. I'll show the first film of the evening, a little short film here. Okay, well, I've made a lot of different sorts of little short films, all just with crayons essentially. And during the pandemic shutdown, when I was just stuck in my apartment in New York for many months with no kids to play, I started coming up with all sorts of other ideas of little films that I could draw. So one of the ideas that I had was that I could try making Jeffery Lewis low-budget films out of works of literature. I feel like many filmmakers have done films out of works of literature, so I consulted the lists of what are the greatest American novels, figured I would start at the top, and always number 1 on the list of greatest ever American novels, it seems to be The Great Gatsby is everybody's pick for best American novel. So I thought, okay, I'll make a film of The Great Gatsby. I'm aware that there have been films made in the past of The Great Gatsby. There's a silent film, black and white ancient silent film. There's a 1970s film starring Robert Redford. Pretty good movie. There's the 2013 Leonardo DiCaprio one. But I think despite the like $200 million Gatsby is at least as good, if not better. It's certainly shorter. And if you haven't read The Great Gatsby, supposedly the greatest American novel of all time, I don't really know why it's considered so high up on the list. It wouldn't be my top favorite, but in any case, I'm about to save you a few hundred pages of reading if you haven't read it. Here's the story. My name is Nick. I went to Yale, and I served in World War I. And when I moved out east to old New York, the roaring 20s had just begun. My neighbor on Long Island here is a mysterious millionaire. Across the bay at night, there's a small green light, and when he sees it, he seems to stare. His name is Gatsby. He throws big parties, but he stays strangely calm. All across the bay, my pretty cousin Daisy is in a mansion with her husband Tom. Tom leads a double life with a mechanic's wife, and Tom is big and rich and violent. But Rich Sleaze is ignored except by a weird billboard which sees everything but stays silent. Then my girlfriend Jordan said, before the war, when he was poor, Gatsby dated Daisy. But when the war was done, she married Tom for money, and that's the reason Gatsby's crazy. He worked with bootleg crooks, he bought a lot of books, he hosts parties, he's a snappy dresser. He bought that giant home across from Daisy's own, and everything was only to impress her. So I helped Gatsby get back with Daisy, but then her husband Tom says, look, if you investigate, Gatsby isn't great. He's just a poor guy who became a crook. So Daisy stays Tom's honey, because Tom has old money, and Gatsby has to take her home that night. But as their car goes flying past that creepy sign, she runs over the mechanic's wife. And when the poor mechanic is in a total panic, Tom tells him Gatsby was the driver. So the poor sad fool shoots Gatsby in this pool, then shoots himself, and that leaves no survivor. Well, Nick's still my name, and that green light's the same, as it remains so far away at last. And so American mobility is revealed as futility, because we're all just prisoners of the past. Well, I suppose it's got a little something to it. I mean, greatest American novel. Maybe that's a stretch. I like,
Spoilers, though.
yeah. Spoilers. Many spoilers about life are contained in a Jeffery Lewis and the Voltage set. I mean, if you were just born, you wouldn't want to come to this kind of show. Okay, what can I spoil next? I have some ideas. We look back and say people were morons. They were lunatics, numbskulls, and harebrains. Because in old times, the bars allowed smoking, and ashtrays were built into airplanes. Such schmucks, those poor nicotine addicts. They'd freak out if 1 hour or minute their mouths should feel nervous or naked without some cigarette to stick in it. Yeah, but if you could give me the choice now to end up as a lung cancer crone, to be hooked on Marlboros or Camels, versus now being hooked on my phone, well, at least smoking looked freaking badass for rebels and rock bands and rappers, men and women who did things their own way, cool cowboys and beatniks and flappers. But right now, with my smartphone addiction, just like yours, just like hers, just like theirs, we're all shopping at one big McDonald's with one drug for both rebels and squares. And I I know future folks will all mock us, call us dumbasses, clowns, and unfortunates, falling prey to an all-day addiction, willing slaves to the corporate extortionists. They'll look back and say people were morons. They were lunatics, numbskulls, and harebrains. Because in old times, the bars allowed smartphones and USB ports were built into airplanes. Such schmucks, those poor phone and web addicts. They'd freak out if 1 hour or minute their eyes should feel nervous or naked without some kind of phone to stick in it. Those old smokers at work desks or discos, we look back and say, God, they were clueless to puff away, hooked in all places. No modern smart person would do this. Such smokers, such exploited suckers, so deceived by the cruel corporations that would prey on their poor helpless lung cells with that addiction that swept through all nations. But now we're so smart and so healthy, we'd never be such hopeless junkies. Yeah, but now we're addicted to smartphones. It's the new trick that's made us all monkeys. We say, gee, you want a smoker, just quit it. Go cold turkey, be brave, be empowered. Because in cars or in rock clubs or diners, you keep clutching your smokes like a coward. Yeah, we look down our nose at those addicts, at the terrible things smokers did. They couldn't stop it at work time or playtime. They'd even do it in front of their kid. Yeah, but if I try to go one day without phones, let alone get to total sobriety, those smokers would run rings around me. They'd all laugh while I die from anxiety. So just see who the more helpless victim is, with the addiction that keeps us unfocused, that now preys on our poor helpless weaknesses and swarms earth like a ravenous locust. So those smokers were just downright lucky, man. It was possible at least to kick those things. Now watch me step out, light up, and check Instagram, because my dumbass is addicted to both things. Oh, they'll look back and say people were morons. They were lunatics, numbskulls, and harebrains. Because in old times, the bars allowed smartphones and USB ports were built into airplanes. Speaking of vices, this song's about a product that really only people in America can relate to because it's a specific local kind of brand name. I feel like when we tour other countries, people don't know what I'm talking about if I try to play this song. So now that we're back in the States, we'll try to give this one a shot. It's about Tylenol PM. too many pills is bad, but it's less safe to feel this sad. So may dark slumbers grab and hold me, far from what my partner told me, far from memories and thought, just close to this small jar I bought of sweet blue Tylenol PM. I hate endorsing brands like them, but see, depression and debasement has got me doing product placement. Is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, then I'll get through the night for sure. No wife, no kid, no life at all. Now all I've got is Tylenol. There's cowboy trucker songs for speed, there's Cube for booze, there's Snoop for weed, there's Prodigy with ketamine, there's Kale and Reed with heroin, Hunter S. had Ibogaine, there's Reverend Davis, sweet cocaine. But how can I get great like that? I just take Tylenol PM. I need her golden arms and ears, I need her silver thoughts and tears, I need her diamond laugh and smile, not cheap crap from the aspirin aisle. I wish I may, I wish I might, I wish upon the candlelight, I wish upon a whiskey jar, I wish upon a Ringo Starr, and Charlie Watts and Brian Jones, I wish on all the Rolling Stones, I wish on all the violent femmes, I wish on Tylenol PMs. God gave Jews a good head start, made some Jews hot and some Jews smart. God gave some Jews Jerusalem, but just gave me Tylenol PM. And I need those Tylenol PM. Can't sleep now without it and them. I loved her more than I knew how, but it's for sure I've lost her now. It's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, and I'll get through the night for sure. No home, no heart, no hope at all. Now all I've got is Tylenol. There's this girl I met named Amy Rose, and I never said it, but I guess she knows. nemesis. I'm not a nihilist, that's just how I exist. Relaxation's the destroying choice in which I have no voice, and I avoid like poison because relaxation's not a motivation. It's disintegration, it's annihilation. An evil twin I'm not believing in, and I'm not giving in, cause it's oblivion. Relaxation is just television, where there's television, that's not my decision. Relaxation isn't in my interest, to be gone in splinters like atomic winters. Cause if I'd relax, you'd put me with an axe. You'd hurl me off your backs, I'd last an hour max. If I dare slow down before I turned around, you'd hurl me through the ground, I'd have no face or sound. So relaxation's not a nice vacation, it's a swift invasion, force the world's impatient, for it's not my friend, just my brutal end. And I cannot give in, cause it's oblivion. Relaxation is a prize they offer, then they pry me off and hide me in a coffin. Because relaxation means you'd all be leaving, I'd be hurt and freezing, murdered for no reason. Relaxation's just a word they gave me, with the hurt, the faithlessness they burn to hate me. With the fire not sweating, you make sure I get it, just a last bloodletting and a fast beheading. And I tumble quickly and I cry out simply, but you'd all be gone before the lights came on. It's a fatal sin, the way it's always been, so I cannot give in, cause it's oblivion. And left my back revealed, you split me right in half. You fill my guts and laugh, so I'd be dead and lazy. You know you said I'm crazy, it'd be suicide. You know it's true inside. So relaxation's not a nice vacation when the world's just waiting for your violation. An evil twin I'm not believing in, I can't be living in, so I'm not giving in. It's not what I'd intend, I might if I pretend. So no, I'll never win, whichever rides begin. Roll my eyes again and guard my sides again. Relaxing makes me tense because it's violence. That's why relaxation is my nemesis. On their retired list, it's not how I exist. Relaxation's not a motivation, it's disintegration, it's annihilation. It's not anything but where the end begins, and I cannot give in, cause it's oblivion. If you suicide, I know it's true inside, so I cannot give in, cause it's oblivion. It's I'll show you another little visual presentation here. Presentation that we like to call the history of the development of punk rock on the Lower East Side of New York City from 1950 to 1975. Okay, well, we're going to start with Harry Smith in 1950. He was a beatnik weirdo who moved to New York City. His huge collections were insane of Easter eggs and paper airplanes and rare records. He had about 1,060,000. To change America through music was his hope, and to make some money because he was broke, he compiled a triple-decker collection of songs from his records, released as the Smithsonian Anthology of American Folk. On a Monday morning, just about 9 o'clock, the great ship Titanic began to reel and rock. Husbands and wives, little children lost their lives. Wasn't it sad when that great ship went down? Smith's plan began to work as foretold. This weird music began to take hold. It sparked an interest in these forms of life underground from the norms, and soon millions of folk records were being sold. So by the early 60s, Joan Baez, Bob Dylan, Phil Oakes were all inspired by those old folks. Then one strange duo of downtowners called the Holy Modal Rounders began to make it more anarchistic with weird voices and drug jokes. Mom's out there, switching in the kitchen, and Dad's in the living room, crashing and bitching. I'm out here, kicking the gong for euphoria. When your mind starts feeling that walking, your inside voice starts feeling that flowing, floating around on a melon cloud, singing euphoria. That was 1964. Then in 1965, Lou Reed and John Cale in a Ludlow Street dive recorded a demo with a sort of similar spin, sounding a bit like the Rounders' acoustic and violin, with even more New York street drug jive. Hey, white boy, what you doing uptown? Hey, white boy, you chasing our women around?
I'm just waiting for a dear friend of mine.
I'm waiting for the man. Well, a little earlier in 65, the Holy Modal Rounders met some other intellectual thugs on East 10th Street who called themselves the Fugs. The Fugs were recorded by that same Harry Smith, playing the punkiest songs yet to exist. Lo-fi, noisy stuff about poetry, sex, and drugs. I don't have a bedtime, I don't need to come. I have become an amphetamine bomb. If you don't like sleeping and don't want to screw, then you should take lots of amphetamine too. Harry Smith recorded an incredible 3-hour Fudge session, including Tuli Kuferberg's great song, Nothing. Monday, nothing. Tuesday, nothing. Wednesday and Thursday, nothing. Friday for a change, a little more, nothing. Saturday, once more, nothing. Fucking nothing, sucking nothing. Flesh and sex, nothing. The world's great books are a great set of nothing. Social anthropology, nothing. Lots of it, nothing. Far from the West Coast hippies. Oh wait, this is weird music. See, the Fugs are real poets with real topics to speak out. And through the new underground scene, this kind of crazy music started to leak out. beginning the punk idea that anybody could do it without needing much musical ability to it, and this new music was starting to be called freak out. And in 1966, the Fugs signed to New York label ESP. The same label put out a freak out band called The Gods, spelled with a Z. The Gods accomplished the feat of making even the Fugs music sound sweet with the least musical folk punk racket in history. Meow, meow. Really sounded exactly like that. Far away from the West Coast hippie music scene, New York's underground music was far from mainstream. It was intellectual but noisy and hectic. And then the Velvet Underground went electric and made folk punk more beautiful and more extreme. Waiting for my man. Got $26 in my hand. Up to Lexington, 125. You're sitting dirty, more dead than alive. I'm waiting for my man. Oh, it's alright. Walking home. Well, nothing could stop New York's strange folk punk tide. In 1968 came David Peel and the Lower East Side. They recorded an album out in the street, screaming and sloppy. Danny Fields signed them to Elektra, and it sold a lot of copies, with songs like I Like Marijuana and Up Against the Wall, Motherfucker, inside. Mother, where is my father? Where is my brother? They're at war. They're at war. You made them join the dirty U.S. Army. You told them all a filthy white lie. You gave them all the bullshit and baloney. And now my brother and my father gonna have to die. And the Stooges were a freak-out band in Detroit, but folks ignored them until Danny Fields brought them to New York City and had John Cale of the Velvets record them. While most acid rock was turning into progressive, the Stooges instead pushed the raw and aggressive, and Iggy Pop sang about degradation and boredom. Alright, well, 1969, okay. War across the USA. It's another year for me and you. It's another year with nothing to do. It's another year for me and you. Another year with nothing to do. Was it 1969, baby? Was it 1969, baby? Well, in 1970, David Peel's second album came with some amazing songs and some a little lame. In most pre-punk histories, David Peel is forgot because he was a hippie singing songs about pot, but his second album was the first album with the real sound that electric punk rock soon became. We are from the Lower East Side. We don't give a damn if we live or die. We are from the Lower East Side. We don't give a damn if we live or die. And even though it was a few years before this was something the Clash would also later do, this album even had a song that mixed punk with reggae. The very nice song, I Want to Kill You. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here come the people of the future generation. Here come the people in a world of demonstration. Here come the people in a life of aggravation. We got to change the world before annihilation. 1971, Lester Bangs first writes the word punk to describe 60s enthusiastic teenage rock junk. And in 1972, the New York guy Lenny Kaye puts out the 60s garage rock compilation Nuggets and coins the phrase punk rock in the liner notes of it, although punk rock would soon come to mean something different from the 60s pop songs that Lester and Lenny thunk. Like this one. Well, I feel depressed, I feel so bad. 'Cause you're the best girl I've ever had. I can't get your love, I can't get satisfaction. Oh, little girl, psychotic reaction. And it feels like this. Kaye was also a guitarist, and he began playing music with an East Side poet named Patti Smith, who would use it to mix her wild poetry with simple rock stuff, like the Fugs in a way, but less rough, a postmodern way to take high art and low art and fuse it. Mixing trash and drag fashion with a rock and roll heart. The Johnny Thunders' David Johansen sound mixed the old style simple rock with the new New York underground and sort of defined the moment when stupid on purpose became the new smart. Yeah, yeah! Yeah, yeah! Well, y'all feel a memory on a springtime afternoon. Woo! Change on into a wolf map, howling at the moon. About a personality crisis, you got it while it was hot. It's always hot, you know the frustration, heartache is what you got. And the Lower East Side of New York City began punk fashion as well, with spiked hair and ripped clothes worn by the poet Richard Hell. Hell was in television, the Neon Boys, the Heartbreakers, the Voidoids, and he wrote the song that gave the new 70s punk generation its first anthem yell. I was saying, get me out of here before I was even born. It's like a gamble when you get a face. It's fascinating to observe what the mirror does, but when I die, it's to the wall and instead of place. And I belong to the blank generation, but I can take it all, leave it each time. Yeah, I belong to the generation, but I can take it all, leave it each time. Well, 74, 75, CBGB starts having punk shows. With television, Patti Smith on the remote. 76, punk fancy began. Then the whole thing moved to England. England stole all the credit, and that's how it goes. The end. Complete history of the development of punk on New York's Lower East Side, 1950, 1975. All right, we'll do a few more songs. Yeah! That's Valerie on the bass. That's Valerie on the keys and violin. That's Brett on the drum. My girlfriend doesn't worry about the things that always trouble me. She says, why are you so grumpy? Let's just both sit here quiet and calmly. And you probably should be thinking first about how glad you'll be if you do some work, and about our relationship. My girlfriend doesn't worry about the vision Mao Zedong had for China. Was agrarian reform for the better, or is cynicism part of our culture? Why did people fight and die for their freedom? Was utopia a lie as a concept? Is the Western model really our future? Is there nothing any better to work towards? And is progress only science in action? Does it truly have a moral dimension? Was the century a dream before failure? Have we settled for this present existence? Was it only necessary for peasants? Would I really give up ego involvement? Is there any global movement for justice in a world of only selfish survival? Because it's obvious we're going to serfdom if we accept the barbary of the system. But would I really want to work in a factory? Would I really make my art for a leader? Would Mao be into some of our music? Or is everything just horror and power? These are massive, giant, troubling, consuming thoughts saturating my thinking. But I think that she'll just think I'm annoying, so I won't bring it up. She says that doesn't make any sense. You should just think about your art and your friends, and about our relationship. My girlfriend doesn't question the psychology of Charles Manson. What does it say about the human condition? Why are people so receptive to listen? Why is confidence alone such a magnet? And it's unfair the way that some people have it, and they seem to do the things that they want to. We all just get away with all that we can do because it's only sexiness that has any value. And all society just falls by the wayside into the hierarchy of cults and of harems. And it's genetics to be masters of victims. And does hedonism go with corruption? Why are we drawn to dramas of domination? These are massive, giant, troubling, consuming thoughts that I'm thinking. But I think that she'll just think it's annoying, so I won't bring it up. She says, why are you thinking of him? You should just think about your family and friends, and about our relationship. My girlfriend doesn't wonder while driving about the emptiness of human existence. How can we make any decision if it's only arbitrary opinions? And why should anyone have a baby? Create another brain of dissatisfaction if we were only biological robots with a program to just mostly feel anxious, except for moments of brief distraction while fulfilling simple functions like eating while being ordered to enjoy reproducing. But how can doing what you're told be fulfilling? All is misery or patent delusions to just fill ourselves with comforting nonsense, all terrified of seeing it clearly and then dying out with no resolution, all tumbling down a mountain to nothing while feeling greedy and mean and unhappy. Basically a meaningless fungus, obviously boring and pointless, and we'll probably have a baby despite this and be responsible for someone's confusions. Why subject them to a long life of work, or feel horrible if they should die young, or feel horrible if we die and leave them? The only happiness is if something's funny. But what does funniness even mean? These are massive, giant, troubling burdens weighing on my thinking. But I think that she'll just think it's annoying, and I don't want to lose her. She says, why are you talking so much? How come you never talk about us? Let's just think quiet and nice thoughts and about our relationship. Thanks. Well, recently Mallory and I we're trying to see if we could remember how to play this song. It has a lot of words. It's a cover of a Crass song. Crass were an anarchist punk band in England in the late 70s, early 80s. And they wrote a lot of great songs. This is maybe my favorite Crass song. But it has a lot of words. So we'll see if we can tackle this one. We haven't performed this in a number of years, but we might have it back at this point.
Yeah!
System, system, system.
Surgeon's knife.
System, system, system.
Hacking at the core. System, system, system. A child is born. Poor little sucker, poor little kid. Never asked for life, no she never did. Poor little baby, poor little wife. Crying out for food as her parents fight.
Crying out for food as her parents fight. System, 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 send him to school. System, 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 force him to crawl. System, 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 kick him off his feet. System, 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 teach him how to cheat. Poor little schoolboy, poor little lad, they'll pat him if he's good and they'll beat him if he's bad. Poor little kid, poor little chap, they'll force feed his mind with their useless crap. They'll force feed his mind with their useless crap. System, system, system,
they'll teach her how to cook.
System, system, system,
they'll teach her how to look.
System, system, system,
they'll teach her all the tricks.
System, system, system,
create another victim for their easy picks. Poor little girlie, poor little wench, with their little objects prod and pinch. Poor little sweetie, poor little lamb, will twist her mind up like a rusty can.
they'll twist her mind up like a rusty can. System, 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 he's grown to be a man. System, 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 he's been taught to fit the plan. System, 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 40 years of jobs. System, 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 pushing little buttons, pulling little knobs. Poor little worker, poor little serf, working like a mule for half of what he's worth. Poor little grafter, poor little gent, working for the cash that he's already spent. Working for the cash that he's already spent. He's selling his life.
He's a loyal wife.
Timid as a mouse.
He's got a little house.
He's got his little car.
He shared a cocktail bar.
She likes to cook his
You know,
meals.
something that appeals.
Sometimes he works
So
late,
supper's gotta wait.
but she doesn't really mind.
He's getting overtime.
He puts a bit away,
It's for that rainy day.
because every little counts.
That's the cost of living now.
Lottery each
Welcome
week.
for that lucky break.
They would take a trip
Do
abroad.
the things that can't afford.
She would like to have a firm.
He'd like a bigger car.
They could buy a bungalow.
With furniture for show.
He might think of leaving work.
But he wouldn't want a shirt.
He would much prefer to stay.
Getting on his day's pay.
He's got a life of work
There's
ahead.
no rest for the day.
She's tried to make it nice. He said thank you once or twice. System, 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 deprived of any hope. System, 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 taught they couldn't cope. System, 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 slaves right from the start. System, 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 till death to them part. Poor little suckers, what a sorry pair. Had their lives stolen, but they didn't really care. Poor little darlings, just ordinary folks, victims of the system and its cruel jokes. Victims of the system and its cruel jokes. The couple views the wreckage and dreams of home sweet home. They'd almost paid their mortgage when the system dropped its bomb. Thanks, we'll do a couple more for you. We're Jeffery Lewis on the Voltage. We have some comics, CDs, records, our new album, some shirts, Grasping Straws has some merch back there too. Yeah, thanks for listening. 1, 2, 3. The Misfits are cold rock and roll, worshipped by a few but ignored on the whole. Meet the Feebles is a film cult classic. It's basically unknown, but some say it's fantastic. Most women that I meet seem totally unfazed. So sometimes there's somebody who seems totally amazed. I might not be in magazines as a heartthrob face, but in the few devoted hearts I found a strong fan base. I'm a cult boyfriend, not a mainstream show. I'm lonely or I'm worshipped by a lady in the know. When you're a cult boyfriend, life is always intense. They love me or they hate me, no one's on defense. Cerebus is a cult comic book series. It's got fans, but it's never found in movies or in theories. The only WFMU is a cult radio station always tuned to by a few devoted fans around the nation. For every time I couldn't get a second date or even first, why does one think I'm the best when all the rest think I'm the worst? For all of those times, no one at all wanted to know if I'm really all that awesome. Wouldn't more women think so? I guess cult boyfriend is the term for me. It's always been quality, not quantity. A cult boyfriend's like a record in a bargain bin. No one knows its worth till a collector comes in. Who are some cult literary names I can honor? Maybe J.G. Ballard or Flannery O'Connor. Haggis and fugu, that's like food for cult eaters. Jim Jones, Father Yod, Charles Manson, they're cult leaders anyway. The point being, do we have to be magical? Can't we date a few months then move on, normal and casual? Suicidally alone and then totally smothered in so much pressure when you go from one extreme to the other. I guess cult boyfriend is the term for me. It's always been quality, not quantity. A cult boyfriend's like a record in a bargain bin. No one knows its worth till a collector comes in. I'm a cult boyfriend, not a mainstream show. I'm only when I'm worshipped by a lady in the know. When you're a cult boyfriend, life is always intense. They're in love or they're indifferent, no one's on the fence. And this song probably ain't gonna go very far beyond an open mic. It's guaranteed though to be the sort of thing 2 or 3 people really like. I'll show you one more little low-budget film presentation. Because this is a Sunday, this is one that I like to do on Sundays. As I wandered across the land, one Sunday I found a hand lying in a cornfield in a tangle. As red as the devil's it was, but it was severed, its crimson fingers stiff as if with anger. I kicked it with my toe, and it sprang to life, you know. It crawled like a red spider a few inches. It pointed to the east, as if to say, take me there, please. But I thought, don't pick it up, what if it pinches? So I grabbed it in a net from as far away as I could get, and off to the east we went, me and this creature. And when a road came into sight, its thumb went up and hitched a ride on a school bus full of Sunday school nun teachers. But when they got a closer look, they all grasped their holy book and said, that hand is obviously Satan's. So before we lost our lift, I implored them all like this. The hand is red, but what you said is quite mistaken. This is just a case of finding a new species unknown to science. To just crush it or to kill it would be stupid. But up one old hag thundered and said since I was outnumbered, the hand would have to die and she would do it. Down came her heavy book, and blam, the hand was squished. Like a giant cockroach and totally disgusting. Just like it was spring-loaded, bones, knuckles, and gunk exploded, and they all clapped at this supposed act of justice. Yeah! But suddenly, there came a fuss from the driver of the bus, and we screeched to a dusty stop right there and then. And when the dust had cleared, we sobbed to see a monster like a blob. How many arms had it? 11, and hands 10. What happened next I won't replay, but suffice it all to say, when it was done, the beast and I alone were left to stand. It took a bus seat from the junk and attached it to its stump, so I'd become, excuse the pun, its hired hand. And the pay was pretty sweet. I had a house and food to eat, and all I had to do was help it murder people. Yeah! Valerie, please join me for one more here. Well, we'll send this out to our old friend and collaborator Diane Cluck. She's got a new album out. Also, we've both got new albums out.
Yeah.
When I was an astronaut, I didn't take my boots. When I was a coal miner, I didn't know the news. When I was a record store, I didn't have the blues. I travel light and that's the life for me.
He doesn't care where else he goes. He's not gonna take any extra clothes or extra shoes to hide his feet. The ground is dirt, the dirt is cheap.
When I go to London town, I'll stand under a rock until I know all the time it takes to pack a clock. Then I'll flip it over, close the key, swallow the lock. I travel light and that's the life for me.
He doesn't take his spoon or fork. He's seen too many eating in New York. He'll use his hands to pick and eat. The fruit he finds, he'll find it sweet. When I was a waitress, I gave away my tips. When I was a gambler, I gave away my chips. When I ran the kissing booth, I gave away my lips. I travel light and that's the life for me.
She lives a life like abandoned wind. Elemental white fortune is her friend. A smile on a planet in a river made of light. She's just a pebble on a waterfall tonight.
When I go to Boston, I'll stand around in jeans and save the cash to leave by selling black market panties. Denim's what I like to wear, it has durable seams. I travel light and that's the life for me.
She is just a genius without a thinking cap. Never pays the rent, she's funny like that. I don't know what she's on, she's here and gone. Rides a welcome mat on a jungle cat. Furs and sofa chairs and shiny things are just a fuss. We'll eat all the peanuts that we steal from the circus. We'll count all the stars and go to sleep under the bus. We'll travel light and that's the life for us. We'll travel light and that's the life for us.
We'll travel light and that's the life for us.
We'll travel light.
And that's the life for us.
You say you've got a heavy heart. You say you've got a heavy heart. You say you've got a heavy heart. It's hard for you to start carrying your heavy old heart. You say you've got a heavy load. You say you've got a heavy load. You say you've got a heavy load. Walking down the road, carrying your heavy old heart. And you sure don't know where you're going. You sure don't know where you're going. You sure don't know where you're going. But I say that the sun don't know when it's glowing. A flower don't know when it's growing. A river don't know when it's flowing. You're doing better than you know. You're doing better than you know. Thanks a lot. I'm trying a little. I know that I basically should end right there, but I have this urge. I have this urge to use this sheet music stand, which just happens to be here, because, well, I'll tell you a little something.
Yeah! We fucking love you, dude.
I write a lot of songs, and a lot of them I don't usually bother playing live because I'm just kind of like, I don't know about this one or this one. So I have like this whole pile of lyric sheets of songs I'm working on, but when there's a sheet music stand, I'm like, well, maybe I could try a couple of these. So that was like basically the show. These next ones are kind of like, you know, maybe they're like applying for the job of maybe being in a show someday.
We love you so much, dude.
We love you.
Yeah, that's before you hear these songs.
You don't know that.
Olive juice, man.
Well, yes.
Thank you for the last one.
That was
That hurt.
good. That was good.
That hurted.
Here. Cheers.
I'll try this one. I can't imagine living with a Doberman Shepherd. I can't imagine living with an Indian leopard. I just don't wanna know about a creeping iguana. Offer me a bumblebee, I'll say I don't wanna. Frogs are the animal that's dear to me truly. Frogs aren't friendly, but they're rarely unruly. Frogs have the fortitude to fulfill their duty with wisdom, personality, and physical beauty. I haven't got the hots for any giant tortugas. I never cruise a spot for tropical barracudas. I don't appreciate a petting zoo of alpacas, sci-fi chupacabras, unicorns, or Chewbaccas. Frogs are the fantasy I don't have to make up. Frogs freaking hibernate and then freaking wake up. Frogs have a certain shortage and to say something. What I love most about them, well, it's hard to say one thing. Maybe it's the way they jump in frog jumping races. Maybe it's that grumpy froggy look on their faces. Maybe it's the fact they got more heel than Achilles, or the way they feel about Monet's water lilies. Maybe it's the way they rarely offer rebuttals. Maybe it's the way they live in rivers and puddles. Maybe it's the mystery of all time on the planet, half standing on the land, half in the slime that began it. Frogs are the animal that stands for the good things. Frogs have always seemed like they deeply understood things. Frogs are the finest from the moment their tails shrink, with deeper thoughts than anything that humans or whales think. If I spoke in croaks, I'd ask a frog for forgiveness. Frogs would rib it back to me to mind my own business. Frogs are not a figment of my imagination. Frogs are swell, and that's a well-deserved reputation. If I had a chance, I'd take a tadpole to Paris and tell it when you're grown you could be Kamala Harris, or grow to offer Gandhi-level peace dialogue, or even better yet, you'll grow up into a frog. Frogs are the animal that's dear to me truly. Frogs aren't friendly, but they're rarely unruly. Frogs have the fortitude to fulfill their duty with wisdom, personality, and physical beauty. Why am I doing this? Okay. Oh, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, heed my lonely TikTok post. I've played these endless open mics, repaid not by follows nor likes. I'm in this awful downward spiral. Nothing that I post goes viral, but when I was lost and I despaired, you saw my share and you reshared. Facebook and Instagram are one, just like the Father, Ghost, and Son. So please don't hit block or report. Like story posts, my lifetime's short, and Jesus forgives how it feels to waste 2 hours watching reels. So let thy blue badge smile on me, let not wokesters pile on me. Don't judge algorithmically, let sponsored ads not target me. Flag the trolls who use all caps and boost my prompts on dating apps. And if I post some vast amount, I beg don't shut down my account. Thou art hallowed, I'm just hollowed. I've been blocked, I've been unfollowed. But come thy fateful day of rapture, please save my page with image capture. But if thou blocketh me, forget it. I'll try X, Snapchat, or Reddit, or I'll just hit the streets and busk, unruled by Zuckerberg nor Musk. Cause I've lost all pride, my pin's denied, I'm friendless and unverified. This intense doubt just gets intenser, but you're the goat as influencer. So now I lay me down to sleep, my life consumed by mission creep. Through thirst trap, clickbait, valleys deep, I accept all thou my soul to keep. One pair of footprints on these shores, when my comment has one like it's yours. Cause I followed you when times were black, please see me and follow me back. Oh, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, heed my lowly TikTok post. I'll do one more. Thank you. You've been very generous with your... Thank you. We have to also thank Trash Flow Radio for being a great local station here. Please support Trash Flow Radio. Yes, what a great venue, Northside Tavern. How come nobody ever told us this was here? This is a good place for us, and thanks for coming on a rainy night. Okay, so I'll try this one. A creature, yeah. A A creature from another world always eats astronauts. A creature with 2 X-ray eyes always sees through your thoughts. A creature from a black lagoon always drags off a teen. I always do the same thing too, I'm a creature of routine. Small ants all stick with eating plants, a bee sticks with a daisy. Big whales all still just stick with krill, though some folks think that's crazy. Koalas stick with eucalyptus, I know what they mean. I stay the same way every day as a creature of routine. Like the moon goes round the earth, I hit snooze for an hour. Like the earth goes round the sun, I piss and take a shower. Like asteroids hit planetoids, I hit my days with caffeine. Like clockwork gears of cosmic years, I'm a creature of routine. I eat dinner out alone each evening, there's 4 places I like. If it might be one day, I'll go play the open mic. I've sketched these schnooks in my sketchbook since 2017. You'd think by now I'd know how to draw them by now. I'm a creature of routine. Each time I start to date someone, I start to think the same. She can't possibly make me forget my soulmate, what's her name? I've lived through all my habits and I've been through the same scene. I could stop being a creature if I could drop this old routine. Each year I tell myself I'll exercise and learn to cook. Each year I write about 12 songs and make 1 comic book. Each year I say I'll act less blue and try to live more green. Each year the mirror seems to show a creature of routine. 'Cause a creature from another world always eats astronauts. A creature with 2 X-ray eyes always sees through your thoughts. A creature from a black lagoon always drags off a teen. Guess I always do the same thing too, 'cause I'm a creature of routine. Rawr! I will do one more new song. This one I have memorized. I think I have this one memorized. I dedicate this to the plants that I left back home when I go on tour. And you know when people say that you're good at gardening, you supposedly have a green thumb. But they say if you're bad with plants, bad at gardening, they say you have a black thumb. So this song's about which kind of thumb I have. Black thumb, my plants are crying, got a black thumb. My plants are dying, am I so dumb? I can't just keep them growing, 'cause my black thumb kills anything that's growing. Now it's not much, a happy plant is needing just the sun's touch, some watering and feeding, just a nice spot, just at the window curtain. Give my best shot, till plants aside is certain. Though they start so green and blooming, they got bought by the wrong human with a black thumb. My hand is just encumbered by this black thumb. Their leafy days are numbered and it's no fun to toss them in the compost. But this black thumb is what the plants all fear most. And I could choose to prune them and repot them, but it's no use, the Grim Reaper has got them. Although I buy more and hope that they'll redeem me at the plant store. They shiver when they see me. Yeah, this guitar player and singer hides a killer in his finger. It's a black thumb. I beg a pedal's pardon. Meet the black thumb, the Nazi of the garden. Like a bad cop, I'm on them like a rock slide, and I don't stop till they got no carbon dioxide. A voice inside tells me to kill. At the first sight of chlorophyll, I got a black thumb. There's no plants I don't mow down. Even Pond's thumb says that I am low down, 'cause my black thumb kills any shoot that comes up. And that's how come I'm reviewed with 2 black thumbs up. Just like the wickedest man on earth, Aleister Crowley said to his petunias, "Do as thou wilt."